things are already promising to be a little bit different. eBay just released the seller update for December, and you all are shocked to realize that eBay is saying that we are going to start using QR code to process our returns. This is something new, especially on a platform that pretty much believes on paper. Pretty much reminds me, even though eBay is also changing a lot of stuff on this YouTube channel, we're also going to be changing quite a lot of stuff that will make it possible for you to escape all the shit show that happens if you decide to be a reseller. See, we're going to be switching things up a little bit. I'm talking about creating a kind of training for a select group of people. You want to actually do reselling. You want to play the game the current way the game is meant to be played. Avoid all the drama that happens along the way. Dramas of you suddenly, buying goods, buying inventories, and realizing that you do not have the possibility to sell what you have just bought, or the drama that goes along with you, trying to ship out an expensive item to a buyer, and the buyer suddenly turns around, to bite you. If you want to be part of that select community where things are going to be done the current way, as to ensure that you constantly minimize your risk selling on the eBay platform or any other platform of your choice, you want to go to the link in the description below, sign up. Very soon, I'm going to be creating a training, to kind of, bring you up to speed of what the current situation, the current state of reselling is, and the best way to play the game to ensure that you do not lose, your hard-earned money. That being said, we are looking at, very beautiful changes coming up in the new year. eBay is already saying, see, we are done with, paper, you having to print out return labels, all because you want to return your item. Return on eBay is a thing. I did a video just a few days ago trying to tell you all that enough of, YouTube resellers just giving you, the good part of reselling. Guys, you're going to be shocked how many people have been burnt, realizing that reselling is not just a bed of roses. If you take a look at YouTube, you might be seeing a lot of videos, promising you how much you can actually make on the platform. You can make 20,000 euros in a week. You can make a lot of money in a month doing reselling. Guys, this is just the beautiful side that people try to paint to you. And sometimes, some people making these videos, they actually have an ulterior motive, a motive that you might not be aware of. See, I'm telling you for real because I sell used computers on eBay. I understand what goes on, and on this channel, I have promised myself to constantly give you, the reality of what it means to be a reseller. Of course, I'm going to be making some content that are meant to just, cheer you up, motivate you. But in between, definitely going to be balancing it with the realities, the things you have to face if you decide to be a reseller. And it doesn't matter what platform you choose. This is something that cuts across every kind of platform, Facebook Marketplace, whatnot, Etsy, it doesn't matter, Vinted, Amazon, it doesn't matter where you decide to pitch your tent. The fact that customers will return your items is a reality, and the earlier you begin to come to terms with that reality, understand that this is a thing that you as a seller have to deal with, the better it is going to be for you. See, I've seen people going out there, trying to be a reseller without having to think that, look, items are going to be returned. They go out there, they are happy, buying expensive inventories, only to bring it back, list it on a platform. The item gets sold because you actually did do your homework. You did a very good price on the item. You packed it properly. You shipped it out, and you realized that, look, the buyer received the item and said, no, I do not want this item for whatever reason under the sun. I want to send it back. And you are actually expected as a seller on the platform to return the item, especially if you are a business seller. See, private sellers tend to want to get away with this, but as a business seller, there's just no way you can get around it. You are legally expected, to create a kind of return process for your buyers, such that when they buy a particular item and they do not like it, they are able to reach out to you, and you are expected to receive back this item, create a shipping label for them. This was what used to be the case. I ship out my items using DHL, and DHL kind of has a kind of connection with eBay such that I can automatically give out shipping labels to my buyers. You see, when somebody wants to return my item, all they have to do is to create, the return request on eBay, and automatically the return request gets accepted. This is a setting that I have, put on my shop just to make my life a little bit, less stressful, because if you have to physically go there every time to approve the return request, I'm telling you from experience, if you have a lot of stuff going on in your life, there's going to come a time where you are going to forget to actually approve such requests. Boom, eBay is going to come for you, and it's going to be a defect on your account. But the best thing you want to do is to ensure that you have set up an automatic return accept process. It's going to change the game for you. See, when the customer accepts a return request, they automatically get a link to a printable PDF, return label from DHL, which is the service that I use. And they can then go ahead, boom, paste that, return label on the package and take it to the post office and send it off to me. And about 2 or 3 days later, I get the package, I open it up, inspect that everything is okay, and I then go ahead to complete the process on eBay, which is to refund the buyer. Everybody is happy. I am happy because I have received my item. eBay is happy because I, as a seller, I have done the things I have to do, and the buyer also is happy. He has gotten a very good experience. Didn't have to hustle. He didn't have to fight with any seller. Where is my money? I need my money. All that has since been taken care of. But eBay is saying, look, we're going to push the process even one step better to make the whole experience, very seamless for whoever comes to the platform to buy. They are actually introducing, the QR code to the whole return process. That's kind of interesting. Of course, there are some platforms that already integrated this a long time ago, Amazon being one of them. So if you want to initiate a return now, you necessarily still have to go through the process of, initiating the return request on eBay, which is, clicking and asking to return an item. But then instead of you getting a PDF, now that you can print out yourself on your phone, which is pretty much what everybody has, you're going to have a QR code that you can easily take to the post office or package shop or wherever your service provider is located, and they have to only scan, the QR code, and thereafter they can print out the return label, place it on the packet, and the packet still has to be sent back to you as a buyer. Of course, this is interesting because once again, eBay is saying we value the customer experience. We do not want the buyers to go through a lot of hassles in trying to return items. You are going to be shocked how many people have actually written me to say, I want to return this item, but I do not have a printer to print out the shipping label. And this is a little bit of a customer experience thing. If the buyers are having difficulties returning your items, the bad thing is that they do not want to come back to the platform because they've not had a very beautiful experience. But if everything is working like very automated, I want to return, say this thing right here. All I have to do is to create a request on eBay. eBay does everything. I receive a QR code, and all I have to do, and in most cases, I do not even have to worry about packaging because this is something that already happens on Amazon. All you have to do is to take the item the way it is to the post office. The post office is going to take charge, make sure everything is packed and sealed, and you only have to go there with your phone and the item. As soon as the QR code gets scanned, what Amazon does is that they go ahead and already initiate a refund to you even before the item, gets delivered. Poof, crazy how things are kind of changing, and all these changes kind of tells me that 2026 is going to be a beautiful year. It's going to be a year of new inventions, new innovations, year of focusing more on the buyer experience. Of course, as a seller, you also have to be seen doing the same thing. Gone are the days where you think you can just do a shabby job and expect to, make sales. Of course, if you have, a very, very bad price in this case, a price that kind of beats every prevailing market price, you can still get away with, doing whatever you want to do, being shabby, not providing good customer experience. You can still get away with making sales. But if you are in a niche where things are already very competitive, it's already very hard to get a sale, you must be seen, to be very, very creative in the new year. You have to be doing a lot to ensure even a more, blissful customer experience, because this is going to set you apart from the competition that is currently, going on right now. Talking about competition, this is something that people do not also talk about for one reason or the other. I kind of feel like I am the only person, drawing your attention to the fact that there is a thing called competition on these platforms. If you want to sell laptops, you're going to be shocked how many people have the same kind of laptop that you are trying to sell. You're going to be shocked that even business people that kind of masquerade as private sellers, they also have the same laptop you are trying to sell, even at a price that makes it kind of impossible for you to sell your own item. This is exactly why I am creating this training, to kind of bring you all together, the responsible people that have said, I want to play the reselling game the current way that it's being played, as to ensure that I do not get burnt out. You want to go to the link in the description below, sign up for the training that will be coming up in January. Definitely, you are going to look back and say, this was the best thing that you did to save yourself and your shop from all the shit shows that happens if you decide to take up reselling as a career. Until I see you again in the next one, peace.